Hello everyone. I just wanted to come to you with some technology information right now. Some of this stuff is very deep and alarming. This all stemmed from a conversation I was having by email with one of my listeners who was listening to another talk show, and a caller called in and said that there was now technology that they were using to implant people with pumps that would pump medication. Basically, you get a lifelong dosage of medication for the rest of your life. I did a little digging because this listener found this kind of alarming, and I found out that it is in fact true. But the page that I found it on was a page from AOL, America Online. They have their own news division now, and it was their AOL Health.com, and it's called The Bionic Human. And they go on and they talk about a lot of different things on this page. And I thought it was noteworthy enough to do a video on it because they talk about electronic contact lenses. Now, as a little background here, you folks need to know, basically what they're doing, there is a whole transhuman movement out there. There is an effort to integrate biology with technology to create a post-human type being. These people that are driving this are academics. I think a lot of this is being driven from the top of the New World Order, to be frank with you, because I think they're trying to move humanity towards something that we saw in movies like The Matrix and the Borg on Star Trek, where everybody's connected to a control grid, a central computerized control grid, and they're able to be controlled. And so you have a situation where technology and biology are being integrated today. We're seeing these kind of research projects go forward, and one of the things that they mentioned on the webpage is electronic contact lenses. They talk about how you can put these things in your eye. They can project images in your eye. You could actually be, let's say for instance, you could actually be playing a video game while actually have the sensation that you're actually standing in the game. So it's not like you're watching something on a screen, very much like I got screens behind me, but you're actually standing in the thing, so you have a more virtual reality. You could actually do it with movies too. You could actually be standing in the scene. And of course, they could actually hook technology to your head, and you can, when you turn, the picture actually turns. But these are things you can actually put in your eye. There's other things too. They talk about artificial retina, which you could put in your eye. You could have it installed in your eye, and this could actually restore sight to the blind. I mean, there are things. Any technology can be used for either good or bad, and that's one area where it could be being used for good. And then they talk about other things, military applications. One of the things they talk about is powered exoskeleton, which would give people superhuman strength. They tout the military benefits of doing that. Say you're on a battlefield and you're lugging a lot of heavy equipment, and a lot of times you get exhausted, you get fatigued. This would enable you to give you extra strength. Say you needed to leap over a wall and you didn't have that kind of strength. This would give your legs superhuman strength to be able to do certain things that you would ordinarily not be able to do. I mean, so they always taught the military benefits of this type of stuff. And then we get over into an area which I find particularly alarming, and that is brain-computer interface. Basically, what you're talking about here is the ability for them to download your entire brain, the contents of your brain, to a central computer. And they say, you know, we could, and they're talking about doing this by 2050, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, this isn't science fiction anymore. They're really working on this stuff. And for all we know, they may already be doing it, because a lot of times I have the feeling, and I think a lot of people share this idea with me, that they don't ever tell you about technology until they're way ahead of where they say they're experimenting. So in other words, they'll reveal something to you when they already know that they have the ability to do that plus a whole lot more. So if they're saying they're wanting to have this technology by 2050, more than likely they're either on the on the cusp, on the edge of doing it, or they've already done it. And I find that extremely alarming. But what they're talking about doing is downloading the entire contents of the human brain into a computer, and then being able to take that computer, that knowledge, we're talking your emotions, your thoughts, all of your experiences, everything you've learned, everything you've felt, everything you've tasted, everything you've touched, everything, every experience you've ever had, being able to store it onto a computer hard drive and taking that information and transferring it to another person. I want you to think about that, because it sounds like a bunch of mad scientists doing a lot of crazy stuff. But this is what they are saying now in mainstream news articles that they may have the ability to do very soon. What are the religious connotations of that? I mean, if your mind can be stored on a computer hard drive, does that mean you really die? Does that mean your soul is trapped on earth forever? And I certainly don't want to think about the possibility of these evil, satanic Luciferians who run the New World Order, who are behind the push for global governance, being able to take their knowledge, their experiences, and transfer them from one person to another. See, one advantage I think that we have as free people, or people that are at least trying to be free, is that the other side, when they have a child, they have to teach that child all the wicked, evil, controlling, social manipulation things that they know, and all the technology or all the history that they know, that they've suppressed for us, but they know real history. I mean, that has to be relearned every time they have a child. Can you imagine how fast it would speed their processes up of control and suppression of the population if they didn't have to worry about teaching each other, themselves, everything that they know? These are some frightening things to consider. But I think it's something that we need to think about, and I think it's something that we need to examine as a society. Where are we headed technologically as a society? Because I think in the first time in the history of mankind, I think I can say this without exception, we are on the threshold, we are on the edge of literally losing what it means to be human.